Dzień dobry, gorące pozdrowienie z słońcowej Bułgarii. Hello everyone. I'm a very old friend of Poland. 20 years ago, my Polish student friend saved my life during the Hurricane Katrina. And since then, I really always says this in the beginning. So I work a lot with Poland on climate, co-transition. And today I have the honor to speak about Bulgaria in front of you. So thank you very much for all of you for inviting me. Just to see which device I need to take. I will present the regional climate strategy, how we actually deal with that complicated story from co-regions to climate neutrality. Because you know that Poland and Bulgaria are the most difficult cases in terms of this transition. And we have many similar stories, but also we can get some lessons learned. So we already heard about the European context. I will just repeat the things that we know and we should not remember about the European legislation, and this legislation is scientifically approved why we need to act about climate change. What is not famous and not known by the people is that the European emission trading schemes has a particular individual targets for reduction of the emissions. Usually our politicians say that we should decrease the emissions by 90 levels, but the ETS sector, which basically is the coal sector and the heavy industry sector, should reduce by 62.5% emissions within the 2007 as a base year. So this makes the story much harder for them. Because these arguments used a lot in Bulgaria. They say, look, we reduce our emissions by 50% the last 3 decades, so we shouldn't do anything, which is not fact and not true. A little bit about the Bulgarian context. We have 3 co-regions, Stara Zagora, Pernik, and Kyustendil. And we have one really heavy national decarbonization of energy reform as a part of the Resilience and Recovery Plan since 2020. And we agree on that in Bulgaria that we will phase out coal by 2038. Although we have this agreed, people think that by that time we shouldn't touch anything. We shouldn't do anything, which is actually not the real world. In my presentation, I will talk about the Pernik and Kyustendil co-regions, as they are the progressive regions. They are also the oldest Bulgarian co-regions. We're burning coal there for almost 150 years ago. And the other one, Stara Zagora, actually is resisting the process, and they are really voiceful and don't want to do anything in terms of transition, or just transition, or green transition, whatever. As a matter of fact, since beginning of October, actually 3 weeks ago, we finally has approved the national long-term target of climate neutrality as part of our legislation. So we amended the Climate Change Mitigation Act, and now we have this 2050 climate neutrality target obligation by the law. Previously, before that, we didn't have this. We had as a reform, we had as a roadmaps, we had as a plan, but currently, so really new news is that we have this as a part of the law. In this law, we also have the binding national emissions cap of the coal-fired power plants, which is currently almost 11 million tons of CO2 coming from the coal sector, and a ban that we can't build a new coal power plants. because there are also some ideas to build new facilities, not only in Bulgaria, of course. And this is a kind of a good news, because people like me are been working on this issue for over 5 years, and now finally we have approved this by the parliament very quietly. Previously, there was a lot of voiceful position, especially from the trade unions, against this, but finally it's approved. So, although this voiceful opposition from basically trade unions, this is the Bulgarian current reality. This is the electricity produced from the coal sector. Although that everybody says that without coal we will die as an economic, that's not true. You can see for the last decade how much we reduce the electricity. This is terawatt hours per year only from coal. And we already since last year achieved the 2026 targets, which is almost 11 millions. So I am waiting for the official data, which will become verified in the beginning of, in the middle of next year, to see how much will be the emissions from this year. But I can state officially, almost officially, that coal sector is not anymore sector number one from emissions in Bulgaria since last year. Transport sector is opposite, it's growth, like 1/3 for the last 10 years. And I think this is happen everywhere, not only in Bulgaria. Soon will happen also in Poland, although you believe or you don't believe. The renewables boom is just happening. You saw all the presentation from the previous speakers, and this is happening. People are seeing the profit of the renewables. So coal regions, coal people, energy people needs to think how to adapt to this fast process, because it's happening. So last year we had a 10 million terawatt hours, and this is pretty much the level of the emissions in Bulgaria. I gave you the electricity perspective. The emissions are pretty much similar as numbers. So, what about the project? In Bulgaria, the Bulgarian partner is Platform Brown to Green, and our main objective is to establish a framework for achieving the regional climate neutrality in the both progressive to coal regions, Pernik and Kyustendil. It's not an easy question. Some facts about both regions. They're really poor regions, although they are really close to Sofia. One of it is 40 kilometers, the other one is 80 kilometers south from Sofia. They stay in the economic shadow of a big capital city, and people are really suffering from the industrialization of that regions without having new economy activities. And of course we have a population decrease. They have some similarities between both regions. You have the numbers, 20% in Kyustendil, 25% in Pernik. Most of the people are not high-level educated, unfortunately. This is also part of the problem. Language and digital skills are pretty much missing. Average wage is one of the lowest in the country, although they have the previous grade of power of these industrial regions. Pernik was the first industrial region in Bulgaria in the end of the 19th century, actually. Motivation and attitudes, well, people working in the sector doesn't really want to change. That's the huge challenge. And the transition risk is quite high. Of course, the economic profile of both regions it's not a good perspective. Salaries are 3 times less than in the capital, and that's why many people just traveling those 40 kilometers to find a job in Sofia instead of finding some job in Küstendil or Pernik. And you have to have in mind that also the coal mines, which most of them actually, the underground mines are already closed, but the surface mines are still under operation. You have to understand that people have really working in a very, very old energy facilities. So, for example, Topofikacja Pernik, this is the name of the thermal power plant in Pernik, is working since the Second World War. So it's really a rusty place, really old place. It's dangerous for people, if you ask me. But at the same time, 20,000 people needs to have heating and hot water, and without this power plant, they just don't have other alternatives. So until we don't install the alternatives, we don't have the other chance. Pretty much is the same with the Bobovdo complex. This thermal power plant is the biggest in southwest part of Bulgaria, and actually produce kind of electricity stability in the whole western part of Bulgaria, because in that region we don't have other huge energy facility like in northern Bulgaria or eastern Bulgaria. So without this power plant, the power hertz will not be good, especially for the capital, and the capital needs that thermal power plant to be under operation until we don't find a electricity solution. Attitudes and opportunities. Well, they're a bit different in both regions because they have their own specifications. But I would conclude that both regions already understand that there is no future anymore in the coal. They accept it. Although it's seen as a challenge, it's seen as difficult, you see that it's moving too slowly, they accept it. Now, depend on everybody else. Doesn't matter from which perspective. The decision maker, the stakeholders, the businesses, the local authorities. Now it depends on everybody to get this process under kind of uniting together and just making this story positive. About the main project objectives in Bulgaria, we should also develop this regional strategy for climate neutrality. We also should establish the strategy management system, SMS. Of course, this is built on the cooperation among all the stakeholders. And finally, after a year and a half from now, we should exchange this decarbonization path with Greece and North Macedonia, because in Greece and North Macedonia and southwest part of Bulgaria, they use the same coal reserve under the ground. So although we are different countries, we have the same coal historically and geologically. So we don't cover the hot water. We make this in a very proper way. We also are partnering here with you guys, and thank you very much for your support. The core principle of the climate neutrality strategy is pretty much equal, I would say. We're just using the chance that giving the hands to those people and those authorities that they would like to change. So we have this multi-level governance and policy integration. What is really important, this is the evidence-based decision making. So when we have this decline of coal, we can't close our eyes and say there is no problem. Actually, there is a problem, and we have to act and react. So it's I like this. It's evolution, it's not revolution. So that's our also style. Transparency and accountability is one of our main challenge, just because we lack a lot of regional and local information. Bulgarian, as a country, as a state, is totally different than Poland. We are a very centralized country. We don't have this regional independence like you have here as a voivodeship. So in Bulgaria, whatever is happening in Sofia, not in the region. And this is the regional climate strategy so far, the key indicators and targets. We are talking and negotiating with the stakeholders. We're moving to the 2 targets, 2030, as a basic of the government, although we would like to see until 2032, because this is a part of the EU funding cycles in Bulgaria, and then 2040. Much more clear than the previous slide. So that should be the target achieved and adopted before that for 2030 and for 2040 as a both called regions. Of course, they will contribute to the government level achievement on the climate reduction targets, but local emissions in the core regions in Bulgaria are very, very high because each of those 3 regions has their coal facilities. So this is the thermal power plant Bobovodov, that one in Kyustendil region, 80 kilometers south from Sofia. So it's an energy facility from 60s. It's been built to be district heating system, but never been connected to the big city next to it. So it serves only to produce electricity. They already started a project to build a huge solar photovoltaic, 100 megawatts of photovoltaic. It's 2/3 of them. It's already built. They already almost completed the hydrogen-ready gas pipeline from Russia, and they already ordered hydrogen-ready turbines from Siemens to replace the coal, and by 2028, 2029, they should replace the coal with natural gas, and they also should produce some hydrogen to mix the natural gas with the hydrogen, I hope. So this is the process, this is the project, it's happening, and if this happens, we can see in the next 2, 3 to 4 years maybe that this thermal power plant will invest a lot of money to transfer themselves in the proper way. About the strategy management system, well, as a regular system, we do the implementation, monitoring, revision, and planning. That's the biggest challenge for us in Bulgaria because of the political instability and because of the political crisis. For the last 4 years, we had 9 elections. That basically means that each 3-4 months we need to change the authorities and restarting the process of talking with the new politicians. New politicians change the regional governance. And the good part of the story is only that mayors are changing once per 4 years. But in 2023, in the autumn, we had a local election. So in the next 3 years, we are secured. 2.5 actually, we are secure with the current mayors. The current progress, and I'm going to finish soon, I promise. Because of many reasons, we delay a bit with our project. We're supposed to start last year, but we started this spring. We made this local action plan. Bulgaria has a stable government from the oppositional parties that don't like each other, and each single day they can broke. But since January this year, we have a stable government, and we started with a local action plan. We engaging with the most relative co-municipalities in the two coast regions. We established the regional working groups, and we managed to framework the regional strategy for the climate neutrality and strategy management system as a frame, as a drafts. Of course, we did the basic analysis, and we are currently engaging with all stakeholders, which is it's slowly process. We need to get the level of trust and to accept them to act and adopt. Of course, this process will continue in next months and years. So to finalize this strategy and finalize to be adopted by the regional authorities and local municipalities, the training sessions are important because behind the training stays people. Without people being involved in the process and understand the process, why this is important, everything usually fails. And after that, we also have to start the transfer to the Balkan countries, and finalization of the activity should start happening 2027 and 2028. The lessons and conclusions, well, regional governance and regional inclusion is really important. This is one from our lessons learned. Investment in people is the foundation of the social stability. Local data and inclusive dialogue are key to a just transition, for sure, you know that. And I hope that our Bulgarian experience to be adopted by the other Balkan countries. What else? I do believe, and I hope that this project will prove it, that the local capacity building is the most effective accelerator of solutions. And political will and continuous monitoring ensure the long-term resilience. This is something that we don't have currently in Bulgaria, but maybe in the future, in the next years, this will be changed. And from transition on paper to transformation on the ground, this is the biggest challenge to any project, to any consortium, to any expert. And I hope that Pernik and Kyustendil can prove that a just transition can begin at the regional level, not only at the national level. And the Bulgarian model under the Life After Coal project will inspire a new generation of climate strategies and across Southeast Europe. So, as Confucius says, it doesn't matter how slow you go as long as you don't stop. So, thank you very much, and I'm ready to answer some questions if you have. Thank you very much.